Cool. Let's wait a few minutes for someone to jump back in. Oh, where's my space gone? Oh, there it is. All right, trying a little bit something different here, guys. So I'm attempting to stream this this Twitter space directly to YouTube. So I've got a live going right now, and we're going in about 6 seconds. So maybe someone will jump in and we'll try and kick this thing off. But why is it not coming up on that? All right. G'day, everybody. Ozman Collect 63 here, and this is VeVe Weekends, brought to you by the VeVe Collective. And this is my first attempt at trying to live stream a Twitter space at the same time. So bear with me, sit back, relax, and see if this thing actually takes off anywhere. So it's all going to be purely experimental here, guys. So anything can happen. So let's give it a go and see what happens. Hopefully, I'll get some comments and someone can tell me if I'm any good at this, and see if it's going to work. So let's start off with some intro music. I've got to remember everyone can see me now, so I've got to be careful. Yo, Doctor, what's up? So let me know if you can hear me okay. I've got to make sure this thing's working. All right, there we go. So now I've got to see if my Twitter space is working. That's the next thing. All right. If you guys are out there, say jump on the Twitter space I've got going as well. Because I don't want to just be me here with nothing going on. I got my trusty Spider-Man glass here. Hang on, wrong way. That's better. Got my trusty Spider-Man glass here with my cup full of Pepsi Max, which is one of my favorite drinks. And yeah, I was just going to chill, see what's going on. Oh, levels are perfect. Excellent. That's what I want to see. Hang on, let me try this too. Hey, there we go. Levels are perfect. Look at that. Whoever thought I'd be doing any of this? Like, if I said to myself, like, a year ago, I'd be sitting here in front of a computer screen, live broadcasting for that matter. So I would have said you're dreaming. But now look at me. I'm sitting here with my Spider-Man glass with Pepsi. I'm trying to live stream a Twitter space at the same time, which I'm hoping is working. Oh, there we go. We've got to try and, for some reason, it's not double screening here. So we'll see what's going on. Yo, Hinano. Hi, buddy. Oh, you there, bro?
Hey, good morning, or good evening for you. What's up?
That's it. Evening. How are you, mate?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I kind of just woke up, and I'm like, oh, look at that. There's like that blue ring over Osman's face. His face is going on. So
that's it. Space is going, but not much. Maybe look. Not only is the space going on, but I'm also live streaming to YouTube at the exact same time. So please tell me if you can see me and also hear my Twitter space at the same time. Because I'm in
the Twitter space.
Yep. So you can hear me loud and clear in the Twitter space.
Oh yeah, totally.
Sweet.
You're sounding loud and clear.
So
cool, man.
So the question I need to ask now is that whoever's watching the live stream, can they hear my Twitter space? And right now I've got DoktaStrange in the house, so I'm hoping that he can provide me with some feedback. Say, please tell me if you can hear the Twitter space. That's the whole purpose of me trying to do this. And also,
I can also see you. I saw you on the Twitter space. I could hear you on YouTube as well. I'm sorry, I saw you on YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like you're doing good, man.
All right, good. Well, so far, if everything's working, that's a plus. I'm also trying to share the screen here as well, but it's just coming up with black, so that's not overly helpful. So what happens if I do this?
Work in progress.
It's a work in progress. Like I said, and anything and everything can happen on this channel tonight. So this is all purely experimental. I just wanted to see if it could be done, and so far it's looking pretty good.
Ooh, exciting!
Because the whole reason.
Well, let's crack and Prez. How you doing?
Good, mate. Good, mate. So far the weekend's been pretty good. Tonight especially has been fantastic because the missus is away, so I got the house all to myself, and the kids are asleep. So the stage is 100% mine.
Party at Osman's house. Let's go.
That's it, mate. So everyone out there, come to the UK. Party at my place. Hang on. Now the one thing annoying is I got to try and swap between. Oh, no, there we go. That's right. Ah. What about you? How's your staycation?
Tiring. You know, I got 2 young girls running around here, and they're eating everything. It's beautiful. No, it's going well. We took the fam to the pool yesterday, so it wasn't actually a pool here at the condo. We went down to one of the big resorts, the Hilton, where they have like 3 lagoon pools and trams and boats and all kinds of crazy stuff, water slides for the kids.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah, we took them there, and then today we'll probably do something small here at the condo. I'm dead tired. I've been editing video last night. I'm trying to get our video ready for tomorrow. I'm a bad perfectionist.
So why is that not working? So I'm just...
The video was done on Friday, and I told Dee, well, you know, I could add a little bit more. So yeah, that's kind of how my weekend's going.
No, right. So is that with our the upcoming interview? With I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I should spoil anything, so that's why I'm just trying to check really carefully about what I'm saying.
Oh no, everyone knows it's happening tomorrow and everything, so it's all good.
Good. Hey, we got DoktaStrange in the house. So, Doctor, how are you, buddy? Hope all's good. Hope everything's coming through loud and clear. But yeah. No, so far my weekend's been pretty good. Took the kids to their first circus on Saturday night. Went a lot better than I expected it to be. It was an hour long. Wasn't the greatest circus, to be honest. It was just a whole heap of acrobatics. There was a puppy that did some tricks. Some cool knife throwing, and some fire acts, which is kind of cool. But all in all, it was an alright circus. I mean, I haven't been excited by circuses ever since I took animals away. So, but it was good for the kids. They lasted just about the whole hour. I thought they were going to spit it about halfway through, but they did very well. And yeah, mate.
No, I think those kind of things that you do with your kids is very timeless. You know, there are things that I did with my child where it's like, okay, this is kind of lame, you know, because you're a grown up, right? And you've done something like maybe gone to a carnival and it was better when you were a kid, or a circus. But these are things they're going to remember that they did with dad. And so, as much as we may not like how these venues have turned out to be, I think your kids are going to remember this, you know, when they become our age. So good on you, man. Super dad over here.
Thank you. No, I do try my best. I don't know why the space isn't sharing to my live stream here, but that's right. We'll have to work on that one. Actually, here's another thing I want to test. I mean, I did no spaces through YouTube. Ooh, okay. So so Spaces is not going through YouTube.
Oh, so they only can hear you talking.
Yeah, well, that's going to be a weird live stream, isn't it?
Well, it depends. If someone jumps on your live stream where you're at there, then not really.
Well, that's it. All right. Like I said, I'm still jumping between screens at the moment because I'm still trying to see how this works. So anyway, the whole reason I'm trying to do this is that because when I do the Twitter Spaces, I have to wait almost an entire week before I can get the episode to YouTube, because I have to first of all have to record the space, then I have to ask Twitter to download the archive file, which takes 24 hours to start with. You can only do it once within a week period. And then, of course, comes all the putting the video together and then getting it to YouTube. So by the time I've done VeVe Wednesdays and VeVe weekends, it's basically almost time for the next episode. And everything's sort of kind of lagging behind. So the theory is that if I could record it all straight to YouTube, then that would just bypass a good chunk of that, and I could just upload it straight to YouTube. But that's the theory anyway. Whether that's actually going to work or not, we're finding out as we speak.
Can I add a suggestion?
Absolutely, I'm all about suggestions.
If this doesn't work, and this is a great idea, by the way, if this doesn't work on your next go, there's a simple way to do it. Because you're doing this on your computer, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you have your phone accessible to do whatever you need to do with, correct?
Yep, correct.
okay, all you do is you screen record this, put your phone somewhere it doesn't hear you, and you're done. You have your recording once you're done with the space.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Yeah, I've done that before when I've recorded spaces when there's like alpha being told, and it works out. It works out perfect. Because then your phone records it in MP3 format, and boom. That's it. All you do is you convert it with, well, actually, I don't know. I think you might be able to record an MP4, but regardless, you'll have it, and all you got to do is convert it and upload it, and you're done.
Cool. Well, there you go. If anyone's out there, say jump on the live stream and tell me if anything's coming through on Twitter Spaces here, because right now I can hear everything, which is all coming through quite well. But yeah, if it's not coming through on the live stream, then maybe I'll just kill the live stream, just go straight back to Twitter Spaces, because if it's just me talking to myself and looking at myself in the camera here, it's just gonna kind of look a little bit awkward, I guess. Unless, of course, everyone's.
Oh, I can see Dee. She's awake.
Yep.
Dee, can you check for us if Oz is coming out through YouTube and also Twitter at the same time? Yeah. Or X. We're called X now.
X, yeah. That was actually one of my questions. Like now we're rebranded as X. Like, what do we call these things? Do we call them like X-rated? Like X? is it kind of like a red light district? No. What do we do? The X's.
Well, I was joking. I felt like, okay, I feel like we're entering the strip bar now, right? So
like, we're not tweeting. What are we, like, blowing kisses or something? Like what do we do, Elon? Give us something here.
Well, I like to coin the phrase expressions. We're just going to send expressions. Now.
Oh, here we go. Got a couple of comments now. No spaces through YouTube. No sound from the space. Yeah, it's just you. We can all hear. Right. So it's just me talking to myself. Excellent. Well, that's kind of awkward.
You might get likes.
I might get likes. Give me at least one like if you like me just talking to myself here.
Yeah. Well, right on. I mean, dude, at least you're trying. Yeah. That's the main thing, and you're trying to be innovative about it, which is cool. Because like you're doing something that, you know, I'm gonna have to ask you advice on soon, because I'd like to host a Twitter space one day. But like you do Twitter spaces, and now you're doing a live stream. Like, yeah, man, you're pushing the needle with VeVe. I love it.
Oh, thank you. I'm just trying different things as well, just seeing what sticks. Hang on, let me try a little something here. Let's see what happens if I take these off. Bear with me a second, everyone. Like I said, this is live, so anything can happen. I got one thing I want to try here. Nope, keep that one.
I'm in desperate need of some caffeine.
Need some caffeine? Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so now my headphones are off. This is coming through the external speakers now. So now the question's going to be, can we hear the Twitter spaces now?
Dee, can you hear us?
Default speaker. I'll tell you what, I bet you it's just a case of me ticking a button. Like ticking a box. I bet you that's all it is. I spent all day trying to work out how to do this, and like so far it's just not playing ball. But then saying that,
I know it's possible. Because I've seen Dino do this a bunch of times on
Here we go. I hear you, Empax. I can hear. Oh, here we go. Look, ta-da! I hear Hinano now on YouTube. That's good. That's progress.
I don't know if it's progress hearing me on YouTube, but right on.
Well, I mean, it's progress in the fact that I'm not talking to myself now. So look, I'm not crazy. I'm not talking to myself. There is someone else on the other end of this.
Sure. Well, right on, man. VeVe weekends.
That's it. VeVe weekends.
Kick it off, Oz.
Thank you very much. So, VeVe weekends. So, how did you go on today's drop? So, did you go for the Spider-Man Noir comics?
I did. I actually got the first initial wait list, and then I also got a rebound. The first one I got an uncommon. Happy about that. You know me, I love my uncommons, even though it's underwater at the moment.
Yep.
And then the second I got the ultra rare, which was nice. So
jealous. So you got my ultra rare again?
Yeah, I don't know what VeVe's lottery system. You know, it just sometimes it's just a luck of the draw. Actually, I haven't gotten a UR in a while. I haven't really been doing well on comics, so most of the time I've been waiting for the aftermarket. Just usually it's always under retail in some respect.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought a couple other, but I also got a rare, and then I bought a common. So I got like six comics today, and that's about it. I tuned into VeVe Arcade because he started live streaming during the drop.
I know.
So that was kind of cool.
Cool.
So yeah, that was my experience. What about you?
I didn't get a chance to go for the drop. So like I said, the missus left this afternoon, so I was stuck on daddy duties. So and also I'm gem poor at the moment and cash poor. That's what happens when you got two small kids that will decide that they want to drain all your money for the month.
I'm the same way, man. I'm really gem poor right now. A lot of my liquidity that I sold off all my old stuff is gone. I kind of went hog on Stan.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So I don't want to put any more money in the app, so I'm just kind of chilling.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I got a couple of things I'm trying to sell at the moment, but yeah, just nothing seems to be moving at the moment. Either I'm doing something wrong, or the market just doesn't like me.
No, I think the old stuff, people aren't really looking at the old stuff. They're only looking at the new shiny. So, I mean, if you want stuff to move, it's kind of like, I think drops that dropped in the past 2 weeks do better than drops that have dropped in the past 2 months.
Right. Now let me try something here. No, that works. So I'm still fiddling around with this, trying to get this to work. Yeah. No, maybe I'll keep this live stream thing going for a little bit longer, and then maybe I'll just kill it. Maybe try something else later on. But at least it was a good idea. So it's always good to try something.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
So what is up, DoktaStrange? See you down there. I see Eric Omi. I see J Temp, and then I see my wife. What's happening, everyone?
Yeah, what's going on, guys? If anyone wants to come up and say hi, please feel free. So like I said, it's always a safe space, and always love to hear everyone else's opinion and what's been going on in their worlds. Also, even a bit of feedback's always appreciated too.
Yeah. So Oz, did you go for Wreck-It Ralph?
No.
I mean, I know you said you're gem poor, but are you going for anything?
No. Well, funny enough, I went for the Astro Boy drop just to see, because every time since they brought out the waitlist drop, I have not got a single thing. So I thought even if I can't buy something, I'm still going to try and go for the get on the waitlist and see if I can actually get anything. And lo and behold, the one time I don't have any gems is the one time I get accepted. So I'm just like, God damn it. But in saying that, it looks like there was a lot of problems with that Astro Boy drop.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, isn't it? I went for it too, and then I got denied on the wait list. And then I ended up buying one in the secondary, but I think it was VeVe Arcade. He didn't get his delivered.
No, he didn't.
I don't know if he still got.
Yeah, no,
I'm not sure if he even got it yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to, if I get a chance to speak to him, I'll have to ask him. But yeah, no, as far as I know, there was a lot of people getting green trucks and gems taken out, but no Astro Boys. But I think VeVe's come back and said that they're going to airdrop everyone their Astro Boys with the mints that they've been promised at a later date or sometime soon. But I think I also read as well that they're going to basically temporarily close the market or something before they do it. Do you know if that's correct?
No, that I don't know, but that's kind of not good for the people that didn't get their airdrop in a timely manner, depending where the price is sitting. And I'm not sure where the price is sitting. You know, I mean, I'm going to assume they're not underwater. It was like a 25 gem drop, but what if it was like a 60 gem drop, and then all of a sudden, you know, you don't get your collectible delivered in a timely manner, and it's fell down to like 35 to 40 gems?
Yeah,
I would be upset.
Oh yeah, I'd be pissed. Doctor, what's good, mate?
Gentlemen, how are you?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm good, man. And ladies, we also got D in the house and other ladies. So let me say what's up to everyone. But I'm good, man. Just listening to the convo.
That's good, mate.
What's up, brother?
So I'm just having a bit of an experimental session. Like basically, I'm trying to conduct a Twitter space and then live stream it to YouTube at the same time to try and make it a bit more streamlined to try and get it to YouTube instead of waiting a week to get it here. But so far sounds like it's kind of hit and miss at the moment.
Yeah, they probably it's not probably fully integrated or who knows what. I mean, it's supposed to work, so they say. But I got some experimenting to do myself, man. I'm literally just about to hop on StreamYard and start messing with these settings and buttons and figuring out overlays and all this stuff, man. Because I'm trying to start going live myself, man. Start getting it going.
Yeah, same. I literally just purchased the basic plan 20 minutes ago. And I thought, I said, I'll bugger it. I'm just going to jump in, going to try it for a month or two and just see if I'm any good at it. And if not, I'll just cancel the subscription. But so far I'm liking it. I've got the little custom VeVe collective logo in the corner there. I've got my own banner. We've got all sorts of cool stuff. So there's plenty of possibilities for future streaming. But
who has the skills with the overlays and the graphics, man? I need some help.
Well, right.
Give me some time, guys. I am in the same boat. If you've noticed from our last interviews, it looks pretty plain Jane because I haven't figured it out either, and I'm pretty tech savvy. But I seen what Dino did with our VeVe interview, where he was able to change the overlays and make it look all good. Then I saw Evolve. He's got some kind of crazy deal going on. So I want that too. So when I figure that out, I'll let you both know.
Yeah, well, I think you can buy packages and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff is you can get packages. They got template stuff, but the template stuff, like he said, it's on plain Jane. It's could always bite the bullet and hit up Fiverr or Upwork and just hire someone, but I don't know,
Yeah.
Nah. Give me some time on this, guys. Give me some time on this. I'll figure it out. But speaking of live streams, Doctor, your live stream was awesome, man. I was only there for 10, 15 minutes, but I had a good time. And it looks like you guys had a good time. You guys did a long haul, man. So congrats on that.
Thank you, man. I appreciate everybody coming through. Everybody who couldn't come through, they still hit me up and everything was cool, man. Almost everybody in here was there. So appreciate you all, man. I know we're marvelous, man. Thanks. But yeah, man, I'm trying to just keep it going, didn't really think I'd be a live streamer too tough when I hopped in with the channel and everything, but seems to be going that way. So I'm just riding the trend, not the trend, but just the trend in my life, the way it's going, So it's like things are just obviously moving you in a certain direction. You could fight that or you could just roll with it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to roll with it, like me and OG Vault. We had a show going every Tuesday, 6 p.m. called Strange Vault. Checking out latest. Well, not really always the latest, but we do a mix of an overarching theme and then go over some of the latest videos going viral, UFOs, UAPs, all that stuff. Cool. But he shut down the channel. So right now I'm literally, as we speak, I'm literally pacing back and forth trying to figure out, am I really going to carry the torch or what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Because I got a lot of real life stuff going on too, So I don't even know if I want to open up a door that I can't fully walk through or what to do yet. But,
Guys, I've been living under a rock. Did OG Vault shut his channel?
Yeah, it's a wrap, man. It's a wrap. I mean,
bummer.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Yeah, right. So he's fully stepping away from everything.
Yeah, he got a desk job. He's starting, and I mean, I've hit him up multiple times since he announced it on Thursday, and I'm like, yo, you sure you don't want to wait and see maybe when you get off of work? Because our show is 6 p.m. So I'm like, for all you know, maybe you could at least still do that. But I think that you know, when I'm just sitting back from a outside perspective, I look at it like this: like, it's not like me, where the main crux of my material is pre-recorded and it's, you know, according to whenever VeVe drops something. His is predicated mainly on drops. Like, he doesn't do a lot of pre-recorded content. So if he's working during drops, that pretty much takes the whole thing out of it. You know what I mean? And I don't know. You know, see what happens, man. It's unfortunate though.
Yeah, right. Oh, well, hopefully whatever he's getting into now, hopefully is what he wants to do, and we'll give him that bit of fulfillment moving forward, I guess. But it's shame to see him go. I mean, I haven't really met the bloke. I mean, I've only known him from the short time that I met him on your live stream for your birthday.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, all I could do is wish him the best, support him, you know, like he supported me. You know.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, he's onboarded so much users for this community. It's crazy. And a lot of users tuned into his drop shows. I can see an opportunity here for someone, but man, that's a bummer. I didn't know this. Shucks.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of came abruptly, but then again, it didn't, because I don't know if you heard, but like, it was a month ago, maybe from now. But there was another time where he was kind of frustrated and was saying, like, if he doesn't get more memberships up and, you know, things just don't rev up more, he's like, yo, it's not going to make sense. Like, I might as well get a desk job. You're kind of done with NFTs, and, you know. But then I think the next drop, he didn't cover it, you know, and there was a bunch of people that was like, damn, you know, it wasn't the same. Just here by myself, just me and my phone going for this drop. It was no flavor, like, it's boring, you know. And I guess things turned around for him, and then he just came back like nothing, you know. But he literally went into his Discord and was telling people like, yo, you know, channel memberships is done, blah, blah, blah. But then he kept going, you know. But now, I don't know, you know, because it was during like a live stream. It was that the Todd McFarlane drop. He was trying to go for it, and he was having technical difficulties, and, you know, he just felt like, damn, I just wasted money on buying Matic. Then it's like you're live streaming and it didn't go right. So it's just a lot, you know. I feel that was just like a breaking point. He was just like, I'm done with NFTs. I got a desk job starting Monday anyway, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, wow. You know, it's news to me, you know. Like, if I knew, I kind of said it to him. I was like, yo, you know, for me, it's a way I enter things and exit things. I personally don't really get down like that. Like, especially if you got other shows with other people involved. Like, if you knew you were already looking for a job, you got accepted, and you were starting Monday, should have kind of told me that. You know what I mean? Because we could have even laid out our last show a whole different way. I could have funneled people to my channel more, or just different ways you could play it when you know what's going on. So, you know. I know how it is when you got real life stuff going on in real time. You don't really got time to be checking in with everybody and letting them know every little thing. But I guess it's a certain level of responsibility you still have when you have like a Discord going. And it also makes me step back and look at things from a weird perspective of like, look how many subscribers he has, 19K, right? I mean, I'm aspiring to try and get 1K. And beyond 1K, I mean, they've lowered the standards for monetization down to 500 now, but you still need 4K watch time hours. And at doing, you know, content, pre-recorded content at 10, trying to keep it under 15 minutes a clip, I mean, it'll take me forever to hit 4,000. So they're basically telling you, turn on your camera and start live streaming. They're basically telling you that. So I'm saying, you know, he got to that 19K not only because he was there during the bull run, but he provided a real service for all of us. Like, you know, he was part of those circles where somehow those people knew little tips and tricks, from like clock gate to just different things that help people get the drops. And when you provide a service like that, it just separates you from everyone, you know, especially at that time. Like, there were a million YouTubers even covering drops at the same time. The Gale, Johnny Dunn, everybody was doing the same time. So he separated himself, obviously, from everyone else. Look at his subs, right? But if we're all aspiring to even say, yo, I want to hit 19K subs, along the way of doing that, You got all these different things going on. You're starting a Discord, all these giveaways. You got a channel memberships, all this stuff. And I'm sitting here saying, well, damn, if he got 19K subs, a Discord going, all this shit I don't even know about, how to even get going yet. And that's what I'm aspiring to. And yet he's telling me right now, real time, is ends aren't meeting. What the hell do I have to look forward to? Why am I putting in all this work for? I understand too, it's a different way you can parlay things. You know what I mean? Like right now, my channel's not monetized, but shit, in the background, I'm trying to work on merch anyway. Why? Because nobody can stop me from dropping a merch link in my description. So it's still opportunities. You have to give people opportunities to support you. Like from a certain perspective, when it's you doing it, you're like, who the hell's gonna buy my T-shirt, or who's gonna even know about me, or who cares? But sometimes it's like you can't take people wanting to support you for granted. Sometimes you're like stifling the opportunity for them to support you by not offering anything. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're better off having a T-shirt or something there than not having it.
Yeah.
No matter what level you're on. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of all of it. I'm still processing this stuff in real time. And yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's switch gears then. Let's go with something else then. What about some of the drops? So how did you go with today's drop? Did you go for the Spider-Man Noir comic?
What's funny is in my video I said I'll be slacking on this one, but whether I'm stacking or slacking, I usually go for it. You know what I mean? So my intentions were to go for it. I woke up, a little bit before drop time, like 10 something my time. And but it wasn't time to like get in the drop, like the wait list. So I just set my alarm for like, snooze like 10 minutes. Next thing I know, I'm waking up like, damn, not from my alarm. And I'm like, what time is it? And I looked and it was 10:57. So it was like by the time I got in the app, the wait list had closed. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I don't even think this is gonna sell out right away. I was like, I'll just get a rebound. So I'm sitting there chilling. I hopped up in Kid Arcade's live stream, watching that. I wait to 15 minutes. I go for the rebound, right? And I'm sitting there watching the prices, and the prices were like 4, 350, then 4, and I'm like, I don't think this is gonna run up because it's just too many copies. It's not sold out.
Yeah.
So I go for the rebound, and it said I got mint number 725, which is crazy because that's my birthday number. July 25th. Yeah. So I'm like, what the hell? I'm like the first comic after my birthday, and I get July 25th. What the hell's going on? So yeah, it was a common, but 3-digit, like Pat was saying, love those 3-digit commons. I think he made a tweet about that. But yeah, so in the meantime, before I even while I was in, waiting for the rebound to come, I just went in and just grabbed one off the market. I think I grabbed the common. So yeah, that's it. Nothing too crazy for me, man. How'd you do?
Me, I didn't actually go for the drop myself, because I'm gem poor at the moment, and don't have any money to just get in the app at the moment. But I'm just on VeVe on the website at the moment, just checking out what the market's doing, and it's still the buy now still there, but apparently the rare, ultra rare, and secret rare are all sold out. But yeah, there's still 4.4k commons left and 1.5k left in uncommons. So there's still tons of them left. But I was just having a look and see what the prices are sitting at the moment. So
in the store, it's viable, but there's no secret rare. How does that even happen?
I don't know. I don't know how that works. But like, because right now I'm looking at the website. I mean, even if you watch it, if anyone's actually watching the live stream at the moment, I'm doing through YouTube. You can see me. I'm sharing my screen right now. But let me just have a look here. So Spider-Man. Yeah, it's weird because it says like the common and uncommon are still buyable, but yet everything else is sold out. So I don't know how that makes any sense.
Right. How does it even get brought and then allocated in a way to where there's like nothing left of? It's just odd. I could see it if the mint run was like 3,500 or something, maybe, but there should still be something remaining of the other two rarities, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's very unusual.
It's random, but it should be distributed evenly to a degree, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Totally, because like if you look about it, the common has the majority of all the mints. So why is that? That would be the first one going out, right? along with the other comment. If you look at an algorithm, it would push those out first. That is so strange.
Right.
Yeah, well, there you go. If you're looking on me live stream at all, like I'm sharing my screen right now. Yeah, it says uncommon 1.5k left and common 4.4k left. Yeah, everything else is sold out. So yeah, how that makes any sense, I have no idea. But as for price though, let's see what the market action is at the moment. So right now our commons are sitting at 444 is our floor. And that's for the common. And for our trusty uncommon, 6 gems.
Well, before I forget, real quick, so I had a question here.
Absolutely.
If you're telling me we can go in there right now and still buy a comic, then why is it that during the drop it said sold out in the first place, especially after the rebound period? It literally said sold out for a while. So at some point after that, it must have switched to buy now again. Like, why are you telling us? Like, why? Like, this is my first problem. Is during the drop there were people catching L's. That shouldn't happen if it's not truly sold out. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? It wasn't like only a couple left and people threw it back because they didn't have the gems. No, it was like whoever was going for it went for it. And I don't think not even the amount of mints available was that many people going for it. Yet people were still getting L's, then having to go for a rebound. You get that, but then right after the rebound, it says sold out. So the question is, how long after it said that did it go back to buy now? Like,
no, I don't know. Well, it's weird because right now I'm trying to click the buy now button and nothing's happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the app on my phone and see what's there. So this is a weird one as well, because if I go to it on my phone, the buy now button isn't even there. It just says comic preview and then the read more for the new blog feature they put in, which is kind of cool. But that's another weird thing but again, it says the same thing. All the commons and all the common and uncommons are still there, yet everything else is sold out. So whether that's a system glitch or some other thing, can't answer that one. But yeah, very, very unusual.
I mean, also what's weird is it says under remaining editions, there's 3. If you scroll down on the phone version. And I think once it's sold out now, it doesn't even have that banner where it says sold out. That might be a compromise for having that new blog bar there.
Oh yeah. It says remaining editions 3,
which is odd in itself. You know, like
sold
out or not.
So,
but that usually means it's 3 left to be sent out. That's kind of what that means.
So pretty much everything on this page makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Yeah, right. Very weird.
Yeah, man. Hey, I want to say I appreciate you even attempting to do this on Spaces and YouTube for us. And, you know, that's why I wanted to be there, like first there. So that's where you come on and lend any support. You know, I know how it is from a production standpoint when you're trying to figure things out. And then you got a bunch of people in the chat who don't know or care about that. So I was like, let me communicate to him what's going on from my side. Clearly.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Like I said, all the feedback I can get is greatly appreciated, because right now I've got no idea if anyone can hear me on the other end. Like I said before, like, you know, when me and Hinano were speaking to each other, it just sounded like I was speaking to myself through like a set of headphones. But according to my live viewers here, I have one viewer live watching me now. So thank you, one viewer, for sticking with me. And any feedback you can give me is greatly supported. Like I said, the whole reason I'm trying to do this is just trying to streamline getting these Twitter Spaces to YouTube a bit easier, instead of having to wait a week to download the files. But it's all good fun. It's all work in progress, and just trying to attempt something new.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I think it's something with StreamYard. Are you using StreamYard?
Yeah, using StreamYard.
Yeah, it's something where you can't have 2 audios coming through the same channel. That's what I was just looking into myself, because I wanted to run instrumentals behind me. So like I really need to talk to maybe like VeVe Vibes or somebody that I know used to have music running. But I know at the same time, if you pay for the StreamYard Premium, you have access to their music. So it's possible he was just using their pre-made music versus trying to, you know, have it communicate with a third party app. You know what I mean? So I think that's the main problem, is it's not able to pick up the audio from Twitter. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to funnel in sound from there. It's one thing for you to stream to Twitter. Then people on Twitter could probably hear everything you're saying in your YouTube StreamYard stream, but I don't think you can pull in the audio from there into, you know.
So
yeah, because
I know.
Yeah,
sorry,
mate.
go ahead. No, I know Dino does this. He does YouTube and Twitter Spaces at the same time. I've also seen some other content creators do it. Maybe send Dino a DM and ask him how he does it.
What he's doing is, the thing is when you're funneling in another sound, you can do it, but you have to be on mute. So that's why Dino doesn't talk while he's streaming it. He only talks before and after, or he might pause it if it's something pre-recorded.
Right. Okay.
It's only one channel, like one audio source at a time through the one channel.
Gotcha. Okay, well maybe that's something I got to try and look into, or maybe work on.
Yeah, there's software out there that lets you bridge it. I was just looking into it a little bit, so I'll go on mute
though, right?
Again, but I'll let you know what it is.
For sure. Yeah, because I kind of like tried to test it before I came online, and just trying to listen to some Twitter Spaces just to see how it sounded like, coming through the laptop, and that seemed to, because I did like a pre-recorded type thing before I started, and that all seemed to work fine. So maybe it's when you try and host your own Twitter Spaces that it sort of goes a little bit screwy.
Google voice meter, MEETER, all one word.
Voice meter.
Yeah, MEETER, one word.
Oh yeah, I've seen this thing before.
Yeah, so every video I watch is pretty much saying this is the best one to use. It's a little, it's like saying StreamYard versus OBS. Like, it's a little involved, but if you're just trying to use it for a small window of things, you could obviously just search, for that specific thing you want to use it for, and just learn those.
Just try it that way.
This is the template. It looks like I might have to go down. But I was actually going to message you because I'm like, maybe, you had a little soundboard, phone action. I don't know what you were using for the sound effects, but it wasn't that bad to me. You know what I'm saying?
No, okay. Well, like I said before, it's all work in progress. the important thing is just to keep moving forward, just keep making them baby steps.
You're right.
No, cool. Yeah, well, thanks, Doc. I appreciate you coming on and giving me a bit of your time, and thank you for the feedback.
Absolutely, man. Anything I could do, thanks for having me up, to throw me back down, because I got some experimenting to do over here on my own, so get to it.
No, for sure. And that's the same for anyone else listening out there. If there's anyone else who wants to come up and say hi and say a few words, say everything's all greatly appreciated. It's a safe space. So we're all open to all opinions. Like I said, this is VeVe Weekends, brought to you by the VeVe Collective. It's basically just a nice chilled space where we can just talk about VeVe collectibles, comics, and any other fun geeky stuff that we like to do. All right. Well, what I might do is I might have to end this broadcast, because so far I've only got one viewer that keeps dropping in and out, and yeah. So if anyone's watching out there on the live stream, I'm gonna end it now. But again, this won't be the last one though. So this is just the trial one. So we will be back again with a second attempt. I guess I'll just have to do it the old-fashioned way until I can work this thing out. But again, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I am still going on Twitter, so don't bail out of Twitter just yet. It's just the YouTube live stream, which I'm going to end right now. So bye, YouTube land. Right, so now let's see what happens. Okay. Can everyone on Twitter still hear me?
Loud and clear.
Excellent. All right, good. Right, so if I close that now, I will deal with that later.
And we're called X now. I literally updated my app and the big blue bird is gone.
Yeah, I mean, I did the exact same thing. I got a big X across my screen now. Oh, D's coming up. Hey, D. How are we, D?
Hey, Alex. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, the YouTube person, that was probably me.
No, well, thank you. I appreciate the support. But it was a good idea. It's still a work in progress, but we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, it was showing me going in and out because I'm using just my phone going in between my windows from Twitter and YouTube. Yeah, when I tuned into the YouTube, the speakers sounded like they were kind of far away, like at the airport.
Okay. Right. Okay. Okay, but you can still hear me clearly now, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, you sounded fine. Yeah, when you had your headphones on, it was just kind of weird watching you talking, and then you would like listen to voices in your head, and then you would talk again.
Maybe I can tell myself like a weird like YouTube sensation or something.
Yeah.
So weird Aussie guy on YouTube talking to himself.
But yeah, it's a good first attempt. Or yeah, obviously still trying to learn things and work things out on these spaces and platforms.
That's it. Yeah, well, it's all. I mean, the theory's still sound. This is trying to get the practical part of it worked out. But as I say, Rome wasn't built in a day, and we just got to keep doing the little things to try and make it work.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what about you, D? Did you go for any comic drops today, or any drops lately?
Yeah, I went for the noir this morning. And I was just telling Hinano last night, I was like, the only difference between the common and uncommon is a slightly brownish tint in the background of the common.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, it's just weird when I heard you and talking about the editions remaining. So I guess there's like literally only one more uncommon and two more commons, and then that's it, right?
Well, yeah, it's
weird.
I know, yeah, it's just like the whole page just doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, it's a glitch in the matrix.
Yeah, definitely. So, what's a black cat?
Is a what?
So it's the cat in the Matrix that sort of shudders twice and he goes, "Oh, look, deja vu."
Oh, right. Sorry. I haven't had coffee yet.
Yeah. So
yeah, I
man.
noticed that with the common and the uncommon as well. I was talking about that in my video. Slacking, and I was like, wait a minute, am I going crazy? And I literally was like going up and down on the page, like just looking at them both, and I'm like, I think this is the same book pretty much, you know. So I don't know. I'm personally, especially if it's a modern book and it has a real life variant, if not like 4 or 5, I'm really getting a little tired of getting a black and white version of a common, because I'm a real life collector and I know a lot of collectors. Don't get me wrong. I know people that like black and white stuff, but it's usually because it's a sketch, which gives them a feeling of like authenticity. Like, wow, this is almost finished, but not finished. Like the colorist didn't get it yet. Or, you know, that's different than just like, it's literally the same thing, but just no color. Like, you know, because it's the books take a turn when it goes from just a sketch version to like finished. It's certain lines that aren't there when they color it. It has a little bit of a difference, you know what I mean? So it's like, certain books, it's like, all right, I get it, You know, there are no real life variants, but especially these modern books where we got 5 variants out there, and then some of them are literally going for more than the covers we're getting. And then, you know, we don't know how anybody will perceive these exclusive covers by these different artists, you know, as far as real life collectors that come on the app. So I don't know. I just think it's time to switch it up a little bit. Even I feel like for $6.99 sometimes, like we should be getting 2 packs. You know, like the new Spider-Man 98, like really 99 is the cover that has Spot on it. So like his first appearance is in the book he got, but that's why they, you know, did the ultra rare and rare cover the way they did, because they know like that book is really the one that people chase, not the first appearance one. So by them doing that type of cover, that made me feel like they're not going to release 99. And the thing they could have just did to avoid that was like, they obviously have no shame or feelings about charging us $10 for one comic and 15 and 20 and all this stuff. So it's like, charge us 10 and give us 2 books. Give me both of those comics, like the chance to hit the different rarities or something, you know, like they need to start switching it up.
Yeah, well, do you think the by the introduction of like Marvel McFarlane with their drops getting into the game, reckon that's gonna start forcing like VeVe to sort of like, you know, get their act together? Because like, you know, Cryptoys is doing their thing, McFarlane's catching up. It's like, you know, VeVe sort of got to like you said, start switching things up and maybe try something new
at some point. But I think that the way VeVe moves, especially with such big licenses, like it's like the smaller the license, the more maneuverable it is, like a small car on a highway. The bigger it is, the more longer it takes for you to make adjustments, like driving an 18-wheeler. So you gotta like, and in their position, literally in the race, they're like literally so far ahead that we may perceive a new company that out the gate has 1 or 2 things, but then when you're looking at the totality of what you're dealing with, they're lacking in other areas. They're slapping that part together. So like, your joint might be inoperable, this, that, and the third, but when I throw it in a showroom, I'm not that impressed. Or if I put it in AR, or can it even go in AR? Like, there's so much stuff that people nitpick with VeVe about, because we got so much from the beginning that they let a lot of things missing from other projects slide. Like, you know, nobody's harping on Cryptoys because they don't have a market, but yet that was a big thing at the time for VeVe. You know, there's no market, you don't own it because you can't even sell it. And then when you did have a market, you still don't own it because it's not this and that. Like, so, you know, we're just in weird times. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about it.
No. What about you, Hinano?
Yeah, I kind of agree in the sentiment that it's a bit. For one, VeVe's like the lead in all of this, and they've pretty much been you know, the leader of the pack. They're the one that's been like paving the road for all these other projects to kind of like, you know, see the follies and see where the improvements need to be. And I do agree also that like with Cryptoys and McFarlane, it's cool. Like Cryptoys I look at Cryptoys kind of differently. I kind of look at them as like a family fun kind of thing. But like for McFarlane with interoperability, that's awesome, you know, and I'm glad that they're catering to the people that want that. But at the same time, it's like it's not very user friendly, and so that's got to get worked out. And maybe it's not for that. I don't know. I'm a little bit. I got to think about this in terms of all these other projects, because there's a lot of projects out there. The one thing I do like, guys, is we have options. Options is great, and it's good for everybody, even for VeVe, because that means that people aren't just like harping on VeVe, like, oh God, they're not, you know, like the finger's not just being pointed at them. Now you got a whole bunch of other people to make mistakes, because they will make mistakes, and the finger's going to be pointed everywhere else, to where VeVe can be like, okay, you know what I mean? We're going to go and be quietly doing this stuff over here, because I've noticed now they haven't really been saying a lot of things, and they've been doing other things. And then there's some things where they should be saying stuff like customer service, but I don't know. I don't want to get into that.
No, for sure. For sure. I mean, like, no, I totally agree. Like, no, it's good. Like, you know, now everyone's got like, and people like options. People don't like being like, you know, say, well, you have to do this, you have to do that. So having these different projects there is good. Like, you know, like they say, for the overall space, because something that VeVe's doing you might not be interested in, but McFarlane might be like, you know, more your thing, like because you want like interoperability and taking things out like and putting it on like MetaMask and wallets and so on. Or if you want security or safety, like, you know, and ease of use, VeVe's definitely got the upper hand on that. And I suppose you can say Crypt Toys is kind of like got a good handle on the fun factor at the moment, whether like, you know, the unboxing and like actually playing with the collectibles. So I suppose every project kind of like has like, you know, their own like sort of pros and cons.
Yeah, I think it's somewhat pros and cons, and it's even just literally just who's where they are in their development, because it's all compartmentalized. So, you know, you might, I'm sure everyone had like a main focus and an understanding of what their strong suit was. I'm sure Cryptoids, it was graphics, you know, and things like that. I mean, look at their trailers, you know, guy was involved with Star Wars, so they knew they had the look. You know, they knew they had the look and the angle. That's the direction they go. But then when it comes to interacting with the collectibles, yeah, I could put it on a block, but I'm not doing anything I can't do in spatial. So it comes down to, okay, which guy do I want to walk around with? Probably neither when I have spare time. I'm not really trying to pull up either one. Like, so as far as like a use case and interaction, there's way more. If I only have 5 minutes right now, I'm going to fire up VeVe still, because I want to know what's going on in the market. I want to know whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's just different. Yeah, sure. So, and that's why I say it's like, to me, it's just weird how people are, because they hyper focused in the past on, you know, issues VeVe had. And it's just interesting to me now when you see glitches during a McFarlane drop or another, you know, project's issues, it's not as loud as when VeVe had an issue. And I just think that in itself is telling to where people kind of realized like how hard it is to pull off what VeVe has done even till this day, you know. And it's even with having them as a blueprint, you're still going to have your own stumbling blocks. You're going to have your problems on drops and all that stuff, because it's just new. It's like, it's no way to have it run smooth, you know?
Yeah, well, that's it. It's all trailblazing in a new space, like, you know, like, you know, on all directions. But I just want to say, K Collections and Gearifying, or was Geary before? But thanks for joining us. Thanks for dropping in, giving us a little bit of your time. Geary, I just see a little comment in the chat there saying hi. So hi everybody. So and a big hi back to you too. Kay, we still have to do our duet, I believe, at some point. So I think everyone's still hanging out for that. But yeah, what about actually on the subject of McFarlane's drop? How did anyone go for any of the Batman?
I did, and I had problems. And I think part of the problem was me. So I had everything set up. I had my Matic in there. I had a oh crap moment to where I had Matic actually on the Ethereum network and on the Matic network. So luckily I had enough Ethereum in there to move it. But then I had problems with the website. Now I got allow list for the first drop, and I remember seeing it prior, but then I had that Ethereum issue. So once I fixed that, I went back, it was gone. I'm like, oh crap, you know what I mean? What happened? So then I kept refreshing. I did all types of stuff. And then when it came for the bat cow allow list, I knew I was on that list, and I didn't get that either. So the public mint comes. I'm like, okay, I can at least get the public mint, because I heard at least, you know, I mean, you can buy their credit card or whatever. I never got that either. Yeah. But here's the one thing that I did after I switched my Matic to the Matic network is I turned on my VPN at work because I was working, and I think that screwed me up. I think that's what did it, and I didn't think about that until after, because I need to have a tunnel into my office in order for me to do stuff from home. And the whole reason I work from home is so I could do that drop, because you got to be by a PC to do it. So I missed out. I was very quiet that day. I was all excited the day before. I think it was on WebV Wednesday. I was so bummed about it, and I just didn't want to. By then, I was just kind of over it. I didn't have enough Matic to go chase it in the aftermarket. So, yeah, right. It didn't work out for me.
I just wanted to say this right here is what I feel like is a perfect example of what I mean by people have gone through so much just with VeVe alone, or just life, whatever, that they went through a really crazy experience the other day with that drop, and let that have been a VeVe drop. Lord, it would have been tweets and stuff from everywhere. But I think you got people like Hinano who went through whatever, and they're just like, just throw their hands in the air, like, forget it. But I think Walt, you know, back to him, like, especially with the pressure of live streaming and all this stuff, like, you know, especially if your money's a little tight, like, you're trying to do these things so that you can facilitate something while you're streaming, and it's like, you know, it's going crazy, nothing's going right, and then you got people in your live chat telling you, oh, I got the one with the signature, I got this one, that one, you know what I'm saying? And it's one thing to like just miss a drop because you weren't selected, but for it to be for these technical issues is wild. And then again, like everyone's super quiet on the fact that like it's always been, oh, let me throw the fact that I'm a back cow holder in your face and I get this and that early. And I was sitting there the whole time like, wait a minute, I'm hearing back cow holders saying they didn't get it and that they're basically going to rely on the public access drop to get one, like, you know, and when it was all said and done, it's crickets. I don't really hear that community like going too crazy, you know what I'm saying? So it's very odd. It's just weird how everything is.
Mm-hmm. And it also goes back to the point as well, like, you know, that one of the things that VeVe still has, like, you know, the upper hand on is that it's simple and it's easy to use, because like you said before, like, you know, the average person is going to be completely put off by the fact they have to have, like, you know, they have to get familiar with Matic, have to put it in wallets and worry about, like, you know, different blockchains, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas with VeVe, like, you know, you can still pay with a credit card and you have it and it's there in your collection. Done.
Exactly. I mean, that's really why, like, when I first started just investigating NFTs 2-3 years ago, I just gravitated towards Top Shot, VeVe, DraftKings, whoever made it easiest. That's what I was getting into. And then when it came to these like PFP type of projects, I'm sitting here like, okay, but why can't I find out who the artist is behind this? Like, as a collector, for me, collecting is never just about an item and a look. Like, I like to know the lore, the background, who's involved, all those things, and that adds to it. Throw Comey in the house, you know what I'm saying? And I was sitting here seeing all these different things and these apes and all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, but who's backing this? Like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, nah, if I invest money, I'm going in brands that have been here for 50 years and probably will still be here another 20 to 50. But these new people popping up and projects and art, I don't know that stuff. Like, I don't know these people, you know? So that was my whole thing with that, man. And definitely the barrier to entry with the whole crypto thing is hard for me because, like, I might actually need to hop in the DM with Hinano and figure out, because, like, I've honestly been stuck for months, and it's like just because I'm not so much into NFTs that I don't really care or force the issue. But I've had a problem where, like, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, I was able to, like, I have an NFT that a friend minted for me, a DoktaStrange NFT, and then I have, you know, a bunch of NFTs I've gotten from Arcade and free stuff, you know, all minted on Matic. And over time, like in the past, I was able to just transfer it to people, no problem. And then I just left OpenSea and MetaMask alone for like a good 6 to 8 months. And when I came back, I went to transfer something to Vault, and it just gave me all these messages about the network and this, that, and the third, and it wouldn't let me transfer it. So I was like, whatever, you know. And then I started hearing that, oh, it's a network switch, this, that, and the third. And for like months, I've just been kind of stuck because I bought Matic from Coinbase, but then I sent it to my MetaMask, and then when I'm on OpenSea, it sees it. But then when I actually go to transfer and it says it's going to switch networks, then it says I have zero balance. So literally, like the other day during Vault's last live stream, he showed how he actually showed, you know, he had made a video addressing that. He showed a website, I think called like Umbria or something, that's used to bridge it. So I'm going to, like, literally when I get done here, hop in and get that going, because I got like $50 sitting in my MetaMask, and everybody's like, oh, just spend another $20-$30 and just buy it on MetaMask and make sure it's the right one. And I'm like, wow, I already spent $50, you know, and I got the wrong stuff. But, you know, yeah, guys.
Yeah. You know, you have something to add, mate?
Yeah. Well, first off, Doc, yeah, it's a pain in the butt to do all that kind of stuff. And that's what happened to me on the McFarland drop that morning. Is I had, what should I have? I think I had $112 in Matic, but it was on the Ethereum network. I had to bridge it over, and it's like how I learned all this stuff was through Aaron, through my collectibles, buying his drop heads. If it wasn't for him, I would have never figured out any of this stuff. And I'm pretty tech savvy, but when it comes to the whole crypto, OpenSea wallet stuff, you gotta. It's a bit complicated.
Yeah,
it's not easy, and that's why VeVe is so easy for everybody. But I kind of wanted to talk about, the people not really in an uproar about the McFarlane drop. But I just think we all started in VeVe, and we've been in VeVe so long that VeVe's the person at the top of the hill that you can point fingers at. And, I got to be honest, guys, we have rights to point fingers at them for certain things. Mm-hmm. My biggest gripe, because I don't really grumble too much about a lot of stuff, but my biggest gripe is the customer service. I'm in communications. I set up customer service and call centers. I've been doing this for 20 years. Customer service is 100% needed in VeVe right now. It's kind of bad. You got users getting locked out. I think some girl Brittany got locked out. And then when you're vocal about this stuff, and no FUD now, guys. I'm not trying to spread FUD, but when you're vocal about stuff like this, and you go out, there's purists that come and attack you for being vocal, like, oh, VeVe can do no wrong. And I get that. That's cool. But yeah, they do wrong, and there's people that want to know what's going on with MCP. There's that as well. You've had prominent figures say they're boycotting VeVe and, all this other stuff. So, people aren't in an uproar for like McFarlane, and maybe I should have been more in an uproar because I love Batman and but I feel like that was my fault on that part. But I think you're right, Doc. I think for some of these other projects, we need to be more objective towards them and not just on VeVe. But specifically on VeVe, guys, it's the customer service for me. It's got to change. And the whole and I really feel it's like this, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like there's 25% of the VeVe fam that gets acknowledged versus the other 75% that don't. I'll leave it at that.
Oh, you just opened up a can of worms.
No, and you're 100% correct. I mean, like when it comes to customer service, I mean, it is a very important thing because I read a long time ago is that people will forget all sorts of different things, but they will always remember how you made them feel. And it's very, very important to connect with that. It's also like, because I've done a little bit of work with customer service myself, and one of the first things that I was taught is that you need to acknowledge the customer. So no matter how busy you are, if you look over to your customer and you acknowledge them and you say, I'm just busy right this second, I'll be with you as soon as I can, they will wait for as long as they need to, because you've acknowledged them and you've made them feel valued. And you see them. just a quote the line from Avatar there, like, I see you. And that's very, very important. Because people always remember how you made them feel.
That's it. That's all it is. And I'm not trying to spread FUD here, guys. I know I opened a can of worms, but it's just been on my mind because I literally just saw a tweet from some girl Brittany, and I met some girl Brittany at DCon, and we all met the team together. So it's not like they don't know who we are. And I'm not trying to play favorites here, but she's been locked out of her account for 2 months. So it's kind of frustrating with that. Go ahead,
there's
Doc.
no excuse for this stuff anymore to me. I mean, I got caught up in the very first, my account got locked stuff. And for whatever reason, they got it taken care of really fast for me. I was only locked out like a day. But, for this still to be going on after, when that initial lockout happened, it was like, oh, we just hired a new team and a third party this, and there's stuff that triggers this and that. So I was like, all right, cool, I get it. But there were people even then that were locked out for a while. A lot of stuff got rectified. Then supposedly KYC should have made this not happen anymore. But you got Pasternak, 88, you got Brittany, and people still getting locked out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what's going on behind the scenes in that regard to where this is still happening? Like, we should be way past this because of KYC, and it's just a little weird. I don't know, man. it's like Hinano said, man, we go through a lot. It's a lot we could harp on. We try not to even complain too much. At least I feel like I know I don't. You know, I'm new to spaces. I'm new to a lot of this stuff. And I personally didn't get in this project thinking it would be smooth until I heard they were out of beta. I don't expect anything to go smooth. And I expect it to be in a trial and error period for 3 to 5 years. So we're in like year 3. So I'm still not surprised that we have issues. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, and back to the customer service thing, he's definitely right about that. And what I would say also that Hinano touched on that I did want to touch on is like, he's absolutely right. They pick and choose who their favorites are, and I think they're about to somewhat curb that with their attempt of an ambassador program like Cryptoys. But you know, I find it ironic that about 70, if not more % of the people that they deemed worthy to even receive these VeVe light up logos and deemed worthy to get cards in person and all that stuff, like 80 to 90% of those people ain't even live streaming. And then you got people like me and Crypto Pro who felt like maybe it's because of our skin. I don't know, but it's odd that he's been putting in work. I'm kind of new, but even when they were still giving out lights, I just started my channel. I met them face to face at Comic-Con. And, you know, it was just like, whatever. Like, till this day, Alex, nobody has ever hit me up. Nobody follows me back. I've tried to be a little more interactive on Twitter and comment under their specific tweets and stuff like that. And I don't get likes and nothing back, no acknowledgement. So again, like, everybody want to talk this inclusion and diversity shit, but I don't see it. You know what I'm saying? And the one black face that I did see them rock with back in the day, which was Cavell, it's like he was the main one that would be like a flip flopper or whatever. And I'm not saying you should align yourself with only Moon Boys. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, like, the people that they chose and deemed worthy, they're not even around. And that's a problem, because whether they're not around because they lost faith in the project or because they were looking for a lifeline, like, yo, you got money, you throwing it around who knows where, like, yo, you should throw some of us on some sort of payroll or something, like find a thing for us, like let us run your YouTube or your market. I don't know, you know, things are very complicated, so it's easy for me to just throw these things out there, but I'm just saying, man, definitely should be more support for the content creators.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you know, you want to add something?
Oh, I definitely do. So I remember Ryan, he dropped some tweet asking for, I guess, just some objectivity and some opinions. And so I gave him my opinions, and I literally said, hey, you know, maybe you guys should start going to the smaller channels and interacting with them more. And Dokta, I said your name, even Kay, I said Kay collects down there. There are content creators that I don't see VeVe interact with that they should, because of the vibe you guys give and the different approach you guys do to your content, which helps further their business. And so, and I furthermore also told them that, you know, I'm not asking for a bone, by the way, because Dee and I don't consider ourselves content creators, but for the people that have been here, like Doc, you have been here for a very long time. KC down there, she was one of the first casual interviewers that I really enjoyed. She's been here for a long time. Same. And I've never seen, you know, the team reach out to you guys for that stuff, or VeVe Arcade, you know, and even OG Vault, you know, none of that stuff. So, but I've seen this in business before, guys, in terms of the pick and choose. And I'm not trying to say that that's what they're doing, but I really feel like that's what they're doing. You know, I've been around the block long enough. And like I said, guys, I've been in communications for 20 years. I've set up call centers, customer service. I know how it is to set that stuff up. And it doesn't take this long for you guys or anybody to like literally reach out to someone if they're having problems. You're absolutely right, Oz. You know, the customer needs some type of attentiveness. And if you give them that and you continually give them that, they'll wait.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, even if it's just like, you know, just an update or something like that. Like, say something happens, just give some kind of explanation. Like, even it's just like, you know, we understand you, we hear you, we're working on it, and then like even if it's just like a small fix it, like people just don't like the unknown. They just don't like knowing what's going on. It's like, whenever you have something like, wrong, like, in customer service or something like that, the first thing a customer wants is reassurance that you're tending to their needs. And it's like I said before, and so as long as they feel they're being acknowledged and being looked after, then they'll happily wait. It's when they're left, like, to their own devices and they start wondering like what's going on. They start making up their own stories in their own head. That's when things can escalate. So, but yeah, no, I do agree that, like, VeVe does need to work on their customer service a little bit better, and maybe just putting things out in a more timely fashion. But in saying that, maybe there's restrictions to that. Maybe when something happens, they're either not allowed to, or they don't have the answers, or maybe they think the answer is just going to cause more panic. Like I said, I don't know. I don't have any contact with them on that sort of front. It's just purely from what I've been seeing. But yeah, no, all really good really good points. Also, I just want to thank anybody for just jumping in and joining us. So I see Zara, Chris Reyes, Keiko. Also, if I'm butchering any of these names, I do apologize. Sometimes I struggle at saying people's Twitter names. Giorgio, Hunji 82, Acolyte. Oh, Acolyte. That's an easy one to say. Thank you for joining us. It's VeVe Weekends, brought to you by the VeVe Collective. It's basically just a nice chilled space where we talk all things VeVe fandom, pop culture, film, comics, and more. But right now we're just having a bit of an in-depth conversation about VeVe. But if anyone else has anything they want to contribute to the conversation or any other points of view, please come up. This is a safe space. We do appreciate everyone's point of view and always welcome anyone else up to the conversation. Just helps with the flavor. Just keeps things rolling, because we never know who's going to jump in and what's going to happen. But
Yes, like me being the new blabbermouth of the V Collective.
That's it. No, mate. And also, even if VeVe doesn't appreciate you, I appreciate you, Doctor. I appreciate your Stack and Slack videos, and I appreciate the content that you're putting out there, and the same as like with everybody who's like trying to make some content or just keep the positive vibe going, which is what the VeVe tries to do. Just try and keep the positive spin going. But yeah, like I said before, like, all points of view are valued and appreciated. There's not really any fun in this space. We're always open to like constructive criticism, absolutely. But yeah, there's no FUD here. So yeah, everyone's free to their opinions and point of view. So please don't feel like that you're going to get like kicked out or anything if you've got something you want to say. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, I just wanted to say.
Oh, go ahead, Doc. You first.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Well, I was just going to say I appreciate everything you said, and I'm hoping that we see you more. I'm hoping I can collaborate with you more.
Oh, absolutely.
As we both start going live and figuring all this stuff out. Appreciate Hinano and Dee's support, everybody's support, Pro Comey, of course. And yeah, just to touch on what Hinano said before, like, when trying to enter this space, at least from my perspective, I try to be professional. I've been in corporate America, 1 foot in the streets and 1 foot out for over 30 years, and I know how to navigate the block to the boardroom. Yep. That's not a problem. I know how to turn on professionalism, turn it off in a second when I need to. But it's like, when it came to making my content, it was like, do I just give people that sterile version of myself, very factual stuff? Or do I give them the raw and cut that I was giving the Telegram group the whole time, which is me just talking into the camera and just showing people what I do, systematically whenever a new comic will come out and what I'm planning to do with it. And so I thought that, like Hinano said, me giving a piece of myself, letting people hear the type of music I'm listening to, hear the producers I'm working with in the background, which are the instrumentals you're hearing. That's why I'm not copyrighting, flagged or anything. These are beats coming directly from these producers. And, I wanted to kind of merge things and give those guys light. And, there might be people who want to follow those people and just bring everybody together, smash these different universes together and hopefully bring an authentic flavor. And like Hinano said, you know, even attract a different demographic to the app, to Twitter, just overall. And I thought the only way to really authentically do that is for me to just be myself and give people insight into what I'm into, you know? So that's what I try to bring. And before Corey got hired with VeVe, like, me and him talked a lot. You know, he's the one that did my intro to that. You know, when you see the All Things Strange pop up, he did that. You know, and he did that before
really?
he got official. Yeah, he did that before he got hired by VeVe, and you know, I appreciate that and just all his help. But it's like at this point now, he's the only real direct contact I have with anybody on the inside of VeVe, and I try not to ask any type of weird questions that will put him in a weird position, because again, we've been friends before that. So I try to keep it separated. But even like when it came to the B-Day Bash thing, like I'm in Will's inbox all the time. I'm in Steph's DMs all the time. So even though I'm not announced as an ambassador and all that stuff, like we're really cool with each other. Obviously they came on a live stream and I'm not an ambassador, right? So, you know, so they were very supportive, and throwing the invite in their inbox was nothing. But when it came to VeVe, I'm like, wait, how do I have 100 and something VeVe videos and I can't even directly message any of them yet? And yet I have zero Cryptoids content and I'm talking to them on a daily basis. Something's wrong here. You know what I'm saying? And then Dino is my man. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like Superstar Money, when I was on another channel, it was called Big Flip Collectibles. We were interviewing every YouTuber in the space. You know what I mean? That was the angle of the channel. And it's just interesting to see Dino come in so late even. And like nothing, he talks to David Yu and all these people. You know what I'm saying? So again, it makes me just step back like, damn, is it because I never met them? No, I met them face to face. I literally was one of the first people at Comic-Con. Like, I was there before anybody. I didn't plan it that way. I didn't go out my way to be early. I thought I was late, if anything, and there was just nobody there. So I just ended up talking to everybody, Reese, everybody, you know, and after that, it was like nothing changed. And that kind of just threw me off. And just the way they move throws me off sometimes, man. So, yeah, more support, more acknowledgement would be great. So, like, when I DM'd Corey and I sent him the invite, I'm like, yo, I would have sent this to Alex and David and Dan and Reese, but they're not following me back. So I have no way to DM this to them. So if you can, pass it on, let them know. You know, I'm going to send you the StreamYard link when it starts. Pass it on if you can. You know, none of them showed up, you know, and I know part of it is like they're just rolling off of San Diego Comic-Con, but
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, sorry. You know, just before I get to you, we got Chris Reese. Is Chris Reese? Sorry, I hope I said it correct. Jumping up to the stage. You want to say a few words, mate?
Oh, definitely, man. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for taking the time to tune in.
Definitely. So I've been part of the VeVe, space since December 2021, and I've, had the pleasure of collecting some really cool stuff, collectibles, comics, and that's forth. And I've also came from pretty much like the OpenSea, reverse with mintables, NFTs, and stuff like that. So I mean, I've learned a lot. I've picked up a lot, and been able to follow a lot of things in the space and everything like that. And then I kind of branched out as a hybrid collector into other platforms, taking that knowledge I gained from OpenSea, stuff on Ethereum, Polygon, and VeVe onto places like Quid, onto Neon Mob, onto, McFarlane Toys and stuff like that. And to me, my whole thing is, and I definitely feel a lot of people that what they're speaking about, how communication works, how customer service works. And I've been in the sales industry for more than 2 decades. So I totally understand that. But with digital collectibles, I kind of just want to add that I feel that all this stuff eventually is going to be all interoperable, especially what I've seen a lot of people from the media side to do, putting not only in their galleries, but pushing things into spatial. And I've been doing that stuff too with different collectibles that I have. And, people look at me with a tilted head saying, why does that matter? And it's like, well, the things that we can do with digital are so far fetching that with physical, it's a little bit more cumbersome. And the way as the technology advances with AR, VR, MR, and then even like geolocation, geocaching, and geotagging, it's going to be really, really cool. So like I've been taking my Quid collectibles, I want to put them with VeVe collectibles and my McFarlane collectibles and have them interact. So I mean, maybe that's a kind of a far-fetched thing. People might think that's foolish, but I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
That sounds pretty cool to me. It's like imagine have like your McFarlane's Batman, like jumping your your VeVe's Captain America or something like that. Them having a big smash up or something like that. That sounds pretty cool to me. Like unfortunately, I haven't had much to do with Quid myself, so I'm not familiar with the project. Though I do know the name, but I reckon you're right. I mean, eventually they'll get to the stage where everything will be interoperable, and then yeah, you can have those options. You can make all sorts of cool stuff in your vaults or your VeVe or your VeVeverse or Metaverse or whatever verse you choose to spend your time in. Hinano, what about you? So you got anything you want to add to that?
I can add to that, and then I was going to add to something else, but I think you're right, man. Everything will be interoperable. I just think right now we are constrained with the technology, with phones and computers. Like a good example is McFarlane. I love what they're doing, but it's my understanding the animation doesn't follow the piece if you move it, and that makes sense as it doesn't because of how it's built on their platform to run smooth and be rendered smooth on their platform. But over time, when all of these companies, they're going to have to collaborate together if they want their assets to be interoperable, because in the end, these assets being interoperable and being functional on all these different metaverses or platforms is going to be lucrative for them, very lucrative, and also make it trackable because they want to know where their assets are going. So I dead set 100%. I think it's going to happen. It's just, we just got to wait for the technology to, well, I think the technology is there. I just think maybe they just got to make the implementation into it. That's how I feel about it. But real quick, I also want to add, just to close out what Docta said in terms of, I don't want to say favoritism, but basically throwing a bone. I think culture is a big thing that needs to be set as a precedence going forward in these spaces. And like a good example, and I'm just going to use Cryptoids as a good example. One, okay. I'm not trying to be bullish on Cryptoids. They're new. They're a new kid on the block, so I'm being cautious. But at the same time, the culture that I feel like that they're trying to build is great because they're trying to build a culture with the content creators. And it doesn't matter what content creator you are. You can be a small fish or a big fish. They want to talk to all of you. They're super nice about it. And, the approach that they're making where they're coming on the ground level, like we literally got to talk with Will just a few days ago and like phenomenal, and we reached out to him directly, and I've run into the same issues, Doc. I've reached out to, the team, the people that I am, friends with and try to DM with, and it's been crickets versus the other people. I just want to say on that, but yeah, to go back to what Chris said, 100%, man. I'm on the same boat with you.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And, one thing I've seen being on Quid, and I kind of joined Quid in 2022, February. So just a little bit after I had gone and joined with VeVe and stuff like that. Kind of seeing the progression that they've been around. And they've been around for a little bit, since like 2016. They were more of kind of like a freebie collecting app at that time, But I came into this weird transition where it was going from their freebie to a fully like more of a cash market. But seeing a lot of the transitions with their older technologies to the newer type of technologies and even NFTs being kind of mintable onto the Ethereum blockchain, it was a big change in everything from their older collectors to their intermediate newer collectors and what they were trying to bring on later on. And even the way they did marketing was just, different. So it was a big learning experience. So I'm a lot more forgiving, me personally, in seeing the transitions, just because I've been in a lot of different industries before. But yeah, man, I mean, I think it's important for any company, even if they have changing of staff, changing of projects, changing of partners, that having a pulse with the community is just so crucial and important. And it's like having the right resources to make sure that everyone's included, because big or small, everyone has something to add. And that's why I like so much about the dynamics of this aggregated society we have throughout all these spaces, because I think the more people that have boots on the ground and can add and create, that just kind of benefits everyone. So kind of leaving it to that. What do you guys think on that?
Yeah, mate, yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, having more people involved in the space, getting more like, you know, opinions, points of views. Yeah, I reckon are very important.
Yeah, I'll just add on about my experience with Will. There's someone that I met that's involved with VeVe, and I think he's into NFTs in general, named Benny Lee. And sometimes he has spaces and stuff. And so I hopped in one of his spaces to support. I was actually DMing Will. And when I backed out of our DM, I saw Will was in the space, saw the circle around his logo. So I hopped in the space and is with Benny. So I'm like, okay. And he's in there, you know, breaking down cryptoids to Benny and stuff. And we were just talking in general, and I was bringing up one of their first videos that they posted for their ZooFOs, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And I was just telling them how amazing the graphics were. And I noticed one of the beats that they were playing, it was like a crazy ass beat. So I was talking to him about that. And he's like, yeah, I'm a big underground hip hop head. That's Hieroglyphics, Del the Funky Homo Sapien. They're like an underground rap group from the late 90s. And I was just like, oh, okay. And then he started naming a bunch of New York underground rappers from the 90s. And, you know, I have that's the era when me and my group were most active. And I actually had songs and collabs with some of his favorite artists already. It's just I'm so underground, he didn't know about it. So he kind of had to backtrack while we were on Spaces, and he goes to my Instagram and checks that out. He's like, holy shit. He's like, yo, we definitely got to collab, you know? And I'm like, yeah, man. So it's a true testament to how tapped in to the culture they are, to African-American culture as well. You know, he didn't come across as a dude that I would see in an underground club listening to highly lyrical MCs, but you never know, you know, at the same time. So that's why I try not to like prejudge anybody, you know, especially white people, because a lot of white people were involved in New York City, Manhattan, the whole underground scene. I mean, you go to a Wu-Tang show back in the day, it'd be thousands and thousands of people, 90% of white, you know, so those people go on to become executives and things like that from the 90s. So now that people own businesses and all that stuff, you never know what they were into. So it was a breath of fresh air to know that the CEO of this company is tapped into hip hop on that level and real hip hop and supportive, you know, and we're looking to definitely collab together. So stay tuned, man. You know, I am on board with Cryptoids in certain capacities. It's not officially announced. We'll see where that goes. But as far as a project, I like it, you know. Personally, just growing up, I was into Masters of the Universe more than Star Wars. Like, there were Star Wars toys I wanted and had, you know what I mean? I always wanted the Boba Fett with the ejectable missile out the backpack, but that was hard to find.
Yeah.
You know, so I was heavy into, when it came to toys, I was more heavier into G.I. Joes just because there was a million G.I. Joes. The way they all had, like, they came in hanger packs and would be on the hangers. You go in the store and you're sifting through them, seeing if there's some weird, obscure character that they dropped that you didn't know they dropped. And, you know, even when you got the box, you're sitting there torn, like, you know you're going to open it, but you're like, how bad do I want to damage this box? Because I knew something was with the file cards on the back and how they had the thing for you to cut them out. And just had a certain collectability to it. Even though I was a kid, I knew these things. So it was like them going that direction. I fully tapped into that whole thing. And then for them to have Masters of the Universe, you know, before they even announced Star Wars, I was just like, wow, like that's right up my alley. It's a nice little niche brand that I was into because cartoon-wise or just brand-wise, in the 80s in real time, every day after school or while you're at some babysitters waiting for your mom to come home, you weren't seeing Star Wars every day, but you were seeing Masters of the Universe every day. You were seeing Thundercats every day. You were seeing G.I. Joe every day. So it hit me in a different way. And then, like, as far as a movie, I saw Star Wars in the movies with my father, but a lot of it went over my head. I knew what I was seeing was next level. But even as I got older, it was like it just didn't hit me the same way as like all these other things who had a toy line. Like they made Masters of the Universe, the cartoon, after they came up with the toy. So it's like, it was just a different era back then, you know, commercials, all of this mass advertising to kids, all that was new at the time. So that's the era I was brought up in. So I think that's why I connect with Cryptoids on a certain level. And I think that if they grab up Hasbro, it's over. Because Transformers and G.I. Joes in a box, I'd be all in.
Well, I mean, just on the subject of G.I. Joe and Transformers, have you seen the latest Transformers movie?
Yeah, man, that ending is a doozy.
Yeah, no spoilers, everyone. But yeah, they're gearing up for a crossover, and I'll leave it at that.
What did you think about the movie itself, in the scale of all the other Transformers movies, and just as a standalone vocal thoughts?
Well, to be honest with you, I haven't actually seen it, but I heard about it, like, you know, online, being like, you know, in internet land and that. But just from the trailers I've seen, like, I mean, like, I was more of a fan of the TV show, like, you know, growing up, like, you know, Beast Wars was just like great. And also, you know, with that catchy, like, you know, intro tune, like, you know, with the heavy, like, you know, heavy metal music. Yeah, really, really good. But the actual movie itself is on my to watch list. Is just getting knocked to the bottom of everything else. But yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I never actually watched the Transformers movie since the third one, Dark of the Moon. I think it was the third one. Everything after that kind of got a little bit sideways and all over the place. But I think for me, the original is still the best one.
Yeah, I agree. I watched pretty much all of them, and I would say this one is second best, if not the best.
Yeah, I think it's because it's not done by Michael Bay. It's done by some other bloke.
Right.
Because I think, like, you know, in typical Michael Bay style, he's more like, you know, slow-mo actions, like explosion. Ooh, look here, look what's going over there. Like, whereas I think this one's got a bit better storytelling to it, though, like I said, I haven't seen it, so I can't answer that itself. But just judging from the reviews are definitely a lot more positive than the ones in the past. So Hinano, so you got something else you want to add, buddy?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to touch on what Doc said about Will. Real quick, both or Dino, and myself, we really got to learn about Will in a very personal way. And you guys have all been on the podcast, so you guys already know the approach that we take with people. Yep. And you know, we went in there without how do I put this? Let's just say after the interview, I have a deeper respect for that man, because we found out the real origin story of how Cryptoids was actually created. And it's a beautiful story, you guys. I mean, just to kind of sum it up, the company was literally created between a bond and a love between a father and a daughter. Like, when I found that out, I had goosebumps, you guys. And so, like, just talking about Will the man and not the CEO, a really top-notch guy. And I'm not trying to be a moon boy about this guy. And, you know, I know they're new, you know, and like I said, I'm being cautious still of the company, but getting to know that guy, talking to him for like an hour and a half, and we literally told him, okay, we're not going to hit you with any macro questions. We're not gonna like make you feel uncomfortable here. We want you to feel comfortable so you open up, because usually when people are comfortable, that's when they start spilling out their soul. And so that's what we got from him, and what we learned from that man. I got to tell you, I'm 100% behind that project, what they're trying to do and the culture they're building. Culture is really big. You know what I mean? Because the culture is family fun. That is the culture they're trying to give. What Doc said, you know what I mean? He grew up with He-Man. You know what I mean? He resonates to that. So there, it's like his inner child is coming out just by interacting with these things. But like, put that to the side and talk about the man running the company. Man, I mean, like, yeah, he's street smart. He knows things that you wouldn't think he would have known. And, you know, I mean, he's just down to earth like us, and he'll communicate just like this. Like, I got to tell you guys, I'm bullish on the guy running the company right there. And you guys will see.
Yeah, I think the scary thing about him to me is that he's so multifaceted, and I mean, he's involved in way more than we could ever even think about. Like, we don't even think about the fact that this is such new technology and that they have to confer with so many people. I mean, especially VeVe with having a token, that they don't even have a token, and he's had to sit down with members of Congress before. You know what I mean? Like, we don't think about this stuff being that deep, but it is, because it's so new. People are scared, worried, don't understand. People fear what they don't understand. And he's had to jump through so many hurdles. So anybody that's able to bring a project fully to market, I have to give some sort of credence to. That's why, like, people could laugh at even a Gary Vee project, you know what I mean? But it still takes a certain level of power, understanding, money. You're coordinating all these different moving parts. You're trying to attract certain levels of talent that are free agents out there. You got to sift through all that. So for him to even recruit the guy that has worked on Mandalorian and Lucasfilms, and then that might have helped him secure the deal with them. Like, we don't understand how all this stuff works. Like I do, because, you know, just on the music side, I understand how, like, you have to kind of move, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you can't go directly for what your end goal is. Sometimes you might need to befriend someone that's a friend of that person, and then, you know,
kind of be a bit more indirect. Cool. All right. Well, for anyone who's just jumping in, so I see a few familiar faces. My collectibles, always a pleasure, mate. Thanks for taking the time to jump in. MASC, Impacts, Nos, always a pleasure, guys. Master Nacho, say thanks for taking the time to jump in. This is VeVe Weekends. This is like a new segment I'm sort of trialing. Just to see what kind of audience we get, like, and to kind of give this side of the world a chance to sort of jump in on our conversations, because most of the time when I do VeVe Wednesdays, this side of the world is asleep. So it's in the UK where I am now, whereas now it's coming up on 10:10 at night. So just giving the UK and everyone on Europe side just a chance to sort of get in on the conversations instead of trying to play catch up on YouTube later on. But yeah, so far there's been some good conversation. So a lot of different topics to talk about. It's been pretty deep in certain spots, but yeah, that's been a very good conversation so far. But I've probably got about another 20 minutes or so before I got to start wrapping things up. So I just want to throw it out there again. If there's anybody out there who wants to jump up to the stage and say a few words, you're more than welcome to. So, like I said, it's always a safe space. We appreciate everyone's different opinions and point of views, and just sort of adds to the conversation, just makes things a bit more interesting. So that offer is there. So yeah, but I do have a question for DoktaStrange though. I was like, did you have a favorite G.I. Joe?
I did. I had a couple, man. One character or characters that intrigued me was Tomax and Zaymont. They were twins.
Oh yeah. I remember them.
Yeah, and it was like it didn't even dawn on me like their name was the same name in reverse until I got the action figure in front of me, and I was like looking at it, the words, and I was like, wait a minute. This whole time it's the same name but backwards for the other twin. Like,
just like mind blown.
Yeah. My favorite part about G.I. Joe, though, and a lot of cartoons from that era, was like how the intro would be all animated and crazy frame rates per second and looking like something from Japan. And then when you're watching it, you watch every episode waiting to see like where this clip came from the intro. And then you realize in certain shows, it just must have just been something that never came out, or was a pilot or something that never came out. And you never see where it came from. But yeah, man, I'm also hoping that Cryptoys or VeVe or somebody gets their hands on Thundercats, man, because I need Mum-Ra in my life, man. If you see my new video on IG or on YouTube under Dynamica Music, DoktaStrange, you'll see, I'm heavily influenced by all that type of stuff, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I make references to all of that stuff in my music. I'm an 80s kid, 90s kid, so that was the era, man. Skateboards, BMX, mongooses, kids being active, roller skating rinks, bowling alleys, arcade games, comics. That's what it was back then, man. It was outdoors.
Yeah, mate. Oh, for sure, mate. Like I'm an 80s baby, so I was born in the 80s and grew up in the 90s, so I sort of know exactly where you're coming from. But for me, like, for G.I. Joe, for me, my first exposure to G.I. Joe was the animated movie. That I still reckon it's probably got one of the best intros ever, like, with that catchy, like, song. So do you know it?
No, not off the top of my head, man. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, that was brilliant. Like, it was like, G.I. Joe, America's hero, and there's like, like just like the embodiment of like, America. It was like, it was great.
Oh yes, Oh, you mean just the general intro? I didn't know if you meant the movie has something different specifically. But actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the actual official G.I. Joe movie, which came out maybe like 3 years into the show or so, yeah, I remember that when that dropped. And yeah, the intro was crazy. And like I said, man, those intros, like everything would be flying by the screen all fast and this, that, and the third. And it would look like, if you were in tune with Japanimation and things going on over there in real time, their whole show would look like that. So I would just be waiting to get an episode. And especially when the movie came out, I was like, okay, this is going to be the one where they really step it up and have stuff, But it just felt like another episode, but just really a long one, But also one of my other favorite characters is Serpentor. Because that's it just resonates with who I am. So like one of my rap names is the Hybrid, so they call me the Hybrid DoktaStrange. So that's basically just because at some point I'm gonna drop some music under my real name, just my regular government name, and then you got the DoktaStrange stuff. So when you mix that together, that's gonna be a whole new style, a new personality. Talks about different concepts. So that hybrid personality is kind of like a buried Egyptian ruler, pharaoh. You get those stargates and mummies, and that's why I said, Mum-Ra resonates with me. So definitely Serpentor is another one because he was a mix of all of the craziest tyrants and dictators. They use all their DNAs to try and make like the most craziest, villain of all time, man. And I don't know why, but villains always resonate with me, man. I love them. Mum-Ra, Serpentor, all of it. Destro, all of that.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to like Serpentor. I know I remember like him from the animated movies. Like, I tell you to do this. I know this I command.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and we had the whole Cobra Law thing. That was like the third wave. It was actually like a funny clip that I saved. I found on YouTube because on YouTube they have a G.I. Joe channel that just plays 24/7, and there was a scene where they were fighting like the people in Cobra Law, and they used to throw like some weird worm-like type of stuff. I don't know what that stuff was they had. It was like a biological type of weapon they were using. But in this one episode, all of these G.I. Joes, they were trying to get through this one area. They were flying by in helicopters. And the Cobra Law, they had like their own flying, biological things. They had like wings and everything, and they were like spitting out this sludge. So this sludge gets caught into the blades of the helicopter, and they go down, and they crash through a building and all of that stuff. And then there's this one guy, I can't remember his name. He's a G.I. Joe, but he's Spanish. And they're coming out of the wreckage and it's all smoking. And he's like, man, I never thought we'd get shot down by salad. And it's like just the craziest thing. I'm like, who wrote that? Like what? So it's just funny, man. But yeah, they all have their crazy moments in these shows, man. Man, all of them. And Skeletor would say some wild stuff. The Beast Man and stuff. Like it's great.
Yeah. No, I love it. I think like for me, like my favorite G.I. Joe was Sergeant Slaughter, only because they actually based him off of the wrestler.
Yes, him and Refrigerator Perry, man. Refrigerator Perry came with a football and like a stand or something. So, one of my other favorites too was I think his name was Road Pig, and he came with what blew my mind was the dude, his weapon was a center block on a stick. And I'm like, dudes running around with laser guns and you got a center block on a stick as your weapon. Like, God forbid on the show he ever connects with that, what they would have to draw. You know what I mean? Like, it was just insane, man. So this stuff is not practical. Like, who would choose that as a weapon?
Yeah, so I just did a quick Google of Road Pig just to have a look at him. Yeah, he looks like something like straight out like Mad Max or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah, he's like Brock Lesnar before Brock Lesnar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Brock Lesnar. That's right. Okay, here. How about this then? Here's a question for you. Being a Master of the Universe fan, what did you think of the Dolph Lundgren movie?
Man, when that came out, I felt like, it had its positives and negatives. Like, Dolph Lundgren isn't, the best actor in the world. You know what I mean? Like, I even have references to Dolph Lundgren in my raps. You know what I mean? He had a little B movie called Red Scorpion back in the days. You know what I mean? So I dig deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it had its ups and downs. Like, I thought Skeletor didn't look half bad. You know what I'm saying?
I thought Skeletor was good.
Yeah, but then it's like, when I looked at Dolph Lundgren, I just felt like, damn, this is a bootleg Conan. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
it was
pretty much.
like, yeah. So it just felt funny. I thought the laser effects were good though. You know, there's a part. I actually watched a clip of that movie recently where they were doing something with the key, and then they were going through a portal, and it was a little dwarf dude that was with them that I don't remember being on the cartoon. So it you know, because one of my favorite characters was Orko back in the day. I have no idea why.
Yeah.
And so for him not to be in a movie, but then they got the troll-looking dude. I don't remember if they even tried to do Cringer and the lion part. So I just remember certain things were missing at the time, you know. But, you know, I was a kid at the time, so it's kind of like you're just happy to get it and it be halfway decent and at least like the armor and stuff look like, you know, somewhat authentic and they put some money behind it. But, you know, it was like The Punisher. You know what I'm saying? It was okay, I got it, but this ain't it at the same time. So,
yeah, for sure. Like, and I mean, like, I also didn't realize as well. I also had like a very young Courtney Cox in it as well. I know I didn't realize she was in it until I started watching Friends.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Going back. So I'm just doing a quick Google of it now. Just having a bit of like a nostalgia point. Yeah, it came out in '87.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good day. That's a good day. That's Back to the Future and all of that. What's out, man? Oh.
Yeah, man. 87. So 1 year after I was born. Excellent. Love it.
Man, I tell you, I really, you know, I might be viewed as old, but I tell you, I literally was born and lived through the best time, man, because...
Oh, man. 80s were great.
Yeah. You know, and I'm a 70s baby. So by the time we hit the 80s, all this stuff that they were mass marketing the kids, I was the kid they were trying to sell to. I was 6, 7 when you're talking 85 or some shit like that. So, you know, forget it, man. It was like sensory overload between Atari and then moving into a Nintendo era and second gen is like, it was just so much to get into, you know, and then you're rolling off an era of having none of that stuff. You know, I grew up in an era where you wanted to change the TV channel, your ass had to get up and change a knob. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Yeah, I know.
The first remote control had a damn cord on it. How is it remote control? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the kids today would not know the pains of having to get up and having to wiggle like, you know, the bunny ears on your TV.
Yeah. Yes. Go get some aluminum foil, put that at the top, move it around.
That's
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Only having 13 channels and really less than that because 3 don't work and 13 is nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
That's it.
Or how about at least here in the United States on certain channels like NBC and stuff, after like 12 o'clock, they wouldn't even show anything. This is before infomercials. So the ship would either just have a channel that's like doop and have a bunch of colors on it, or they'll just have the flag playing and the national anthem playing. It's basically telling you, take your ass to bed. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. I mean, I was exactly the same. Like, you know, growing up in like rural Western Australia, like, you know, I had only like three channels, and basically 90% of the time they wouldn't work because we were that far out of town. Like, you know, that we had like no reception, so you have to wiggle the bunny ears on the TV to get half a chance at any reception, and you just have like static 90% of the time. Like, you know, kids today don't understand, like, you know, what it was like looking at a black and white TV with just like static. My dad used to always say to me, like, "No, see that there, that is the never-ending battle between the white ants and the black ants."
That's hilarious.
I know, that's how he used to justify it. He goes, if you watch that TV, say they've been warring each other since the dawn of time, and neither one of them can win. It's like, if you just keep watching, say you might see one of them get the upper hand, and like, you know, being like, you know, 3-4 years old, like, you know, I bought right into that crap. So I just watch the TV, and they would just leave me to my devices.
Exactly. Let your imagination run wild with that one.
That's it. I tried doing that today with my kids. I'd probably get something thrown at me.
Man, you'd have a hard time even recreating that nowadays. Everything is either it works or it don't. Either it's a crystal picture or it's not. You know, we come from that era of in between. Remember VHS tapes and how you had to sometimes use the tracking?
Oh yeah, boy.
You know, we don't have that anymore. It's either it works or it doesn't work. You know, either the file plays or it doesn't. It's not supported and it's corrupted, or you know. So
yeah. That's it. That's another one kids today don't understand. Like, you know, the pain of having to rewind the video once you finished it.
Oh yeah, they'll never know the pain, man. They used to be pain. Listen, man, you used to buy the blanks tapes, record your music, make your little mix. You mess around and keep playing that same cassette too much, that tape pop. Now you got to become a surgeon. You got to get a little screwdriver. You got to go bother your grandmother and see if your grandmother got the eyeglass kit with the little screwdriver in it.
Yeah.
And then you use that. You do surgery on your tape. You got to get a little piece of tape, cut that down to size, and then you got to splice the tape together. They ain't going to know about that. That's the analog era, man. You know?
Yeah, well, that's it. Or if you take the picture of a cassette tape and a pencil, and you say, like, you know, kids today don't relate these two, whereas I know exactly what they mean.
Mm-hmm.
We got MASC coming up. MASC, how are you, mate?
Hey, what's up, man? I had to come into this old people talk, man. That took me down memory lane, bro. I remember going to Toys R Us was like Disney World.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
It's a Disney. Oh man, tell them about it, man. Tell us about it. Where you from, man?
I grew up in Miami, so I'm a '77 baby.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's that era. You know, everything I was touching on, you're like, yep.
Hell yeah, man. I had the Atari, bro. I used to play Asteroids, and I used to play Galaga, Qbert. Remember Qbert?
Yeah, I was a Qbert expert, baby. Yeah, man. I grew up, man. I had a Commodore 64 also. My father had a 28.
Yeah.
So I was getting crack games from the UK. I had this friend that was one of this like getting crack stuff from the UK, and then we bring the disc over, and it was crazy, man. Anybody remember that game Dragon's Lair, man? That was the shit, man.
So very, very, very vaguely. I mean, like, I'm an '86 baby, so like, you know, I grew up in like, you know, like rural Western Australia, and my first exposure to the gaming world was the Nintendo. So my first game was Super Mario and Duck Hunt.
Those are the best games to enter. You know, that was the introduction pack right there. If you had the big money, you got the Duck Hunt with the gun. If you ain't had a big money, you was lucky to have Super Mario. You know what I'm saying?
That's it, mate. And I tell you what, though, there is nothing more frustrating in the world than shooting at that bloody screen and missing the duck, and then having that dog come up with like giggling, going hee 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 hee. You're like, screw you, dog, screw you.
Oh yeah. Yo, Dragon's Lair, man, you might want to Google that while we're on real quick, man. That is an amazing game. That one, and there's another one called Space Ace. Sorry. Dragon's Lair was like all animated, so it's like you're playing a cartoon. And
Dragon's Lair.
Game. Yeah.
I know the one. Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, so it was like left and right or up and down. You have to make split-second decisions, and it's kind of a mixture of memory as well, because it's like certain levels you're just not going to pass it on the first try. So it's like you just have to remember what happened and which, you know what I mean? But frustrating game, would eat up a lot of your quarters. And they never really imported it properly. So like anytime it did come out, it was like they would simulate the level, but it wasn't a cartoonized exact version. Now that we're in another day and age, I'm pretty sure it's out there and available on something. But super fun game, way ahead of its time, man. They should get back into doing something like that now, I think. It's crazy.
The 80s was such a big pop culture era, man. That was like, you had the malls started coming up. You had freaking arcades. Everybody wanted to go to the arcades at the mall. Dude, that's where gaming began, bro. 70s and 80s, man.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, I played like the first Mario Brothers. I played that on Commodore 64. That was a pretty much direct import from the arcade version. But yeah, that was pretty much like playing Donkey Kong, for example, where you're jumping and trying to just go up different levels and jump over stuff and get to the top. You know, they had a lot of those games like that, like Burger Time, and it's a whole bunch of those games. They're all the same stuff, but it's all fun, man. That's the main thing is like, if you think about Nintendo games, that's why you could still get on some of them and still play them now and it holds up, is because it's not all about graphics necessarily. It's just about fun too, you know? So some of these games are so great graphically, but it's like a million buttons and I'm like halfway stressed out.
Too complicated. Yeah. Whereas with like the old school Nintendo, you just had like 2 buttons and a direction pad. That's all you needed.
That's it, man. Up, down, left, right.
That's right.
And control, all that, man.
That's it. And also that feeling of like, button bashing, like, you're pushing the B button as hard as you can, as fast as you can, thinking it's going to make a world of difference. Whereas like it just doesn't. It just ends up hurting your finger and breaking your controller.
Oh yeah. The only thing that worked with though is like on Tyson's Punch Out when you're like trying to get up. Yeah. That one, yeah, you needed it. You needed it then. Fast fingers, yeah.
Nice one. All right, guys. Well, it's coming up on 10:30 at night over here in the UK. So I'm gonna lay it out there one last time, just for the last few minutes. If anybody wants to jump up the stage, say a few words. I'm gonna start closing the space out shortly. So yeah, if anybody wants to jump up and say anything, now's the time to do it. Whether it's just to say hi or say like you've enjoyed the content, or you reckon we can improve on something, or just in anything in general. Like I said before, and I'll probably say it again for the 100th time, it's a safe space. So we appreciate all points of view, all comments are greatly appreciated, and we'll kick it off with D. D's got a hand up.
Hey, yeah, I just wanted to say thanks for having the space on Sunday. It was nice to listen to the speakers up here going down memory lane. I was born in 87, so I guess I grew up in the 90s.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's nice to hear other people talk about what they grew up on. And I experienced most of it that you guys were talking about. So, yeah, it's just nice to hear other people going down memory lane.
Nice bit of nostalgia. No, excellent. All right. Well, I guess I'll close the space out, guys. Well, I just want to say thank you everybody for taking the time out of your day to come here and chill with us in the space. It's been a very experimental space tonight. We started off trying to live stream this Twitter space through YouTube, and that sort of didn't quite go so well. So we'll definitely keep experimenting with that, and hopefully we'll get somewhere with that. Just want to say thank you to DoktaStrange for coming up and speaking tonight. Had a really good conversation about a variety of topics, and it's also just been nice just kicking back and just talking a bit of nostalgia with you, like film and game wise. That was a very cool. Hinano, always a pleasure, mate. Getting your feedback and opinions. MASC, D. And everyone else is taking the time out of the day to listen in. I hope you've enjoyed the content, and I hope you'll come back for next week. And also, if you get a chance, jump into VeVe Wednesdays, which will be streaming 8 till 10 Pacific Standard Time on Wednesday nights. So yeah, I guess that's it from me. I've been your host, Ozman Collect 63. This has been VeVe Weekends, brought to you by the VeVe Collective. And I just want to wish you all a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your day. And it's coming up on 10:30 at night here, so I'm probably going to head off to bed. But I will see you all in the Twitter Spaces.
Have a great day, everyone.
Peace, everybody.
That's it. Have a good one, guys. And I will talk to you more soon. All right. See you later. Bye.
Later.